Hi everyone, I'm Catlin Tucker, and I am publishing a new series of videos on high frequency words for the new SAT. So obviously the SAT has had a big makeover. I have a list of tons of words that were recommended for the old SAT, but even though there's not quite as much emphasis on just understanding straight vocabulary in the new SAT, because lots of the words are used in context, which means they're used in a sentence and you can kind of figure out what they mean by how they're used, there are still some high frequency words that would be helpful for students preparing for the new SAT. So this is the first list. The first word is abate, and this is a verb, and it means to become less active, less intense, or less in terms of the amount of something. So for example, if you have a child that has always been afraid of dogs, but then their cousin gets a dog and they spend some time getting to know that dog and playing with that dog, their fear of dogs in general may abate. It may become less over time because they've had a positive experience with a dog. Second word is basic, and basic is an adjective. It's a describing word. So it describes something that relates to kind of the foundation or the basis of something. So if you're learning a language, you kind of have to learn basic vocabulary before you can build on that. Or if you want to learn to cook, you have to learn about basic ingredients and basic recipes before you can tackle things that are more complicated. The third word is candid, and this is an adjective as well. So it describes something or someone that is really direct or blunt. And so oftentimes when I think of people who I would describe as candid, I think about children. I can't tell you how many times I have prepared a meal for my own children, and they are very candid about how unexcited they are about the food that I have prepared. They don't like it, they don't think it looks good, they don't think it smells good, and they are very direct, they are very candid, and they will tell me what they think. They don't worry too much about how it's going to make me feel. The fourth word is decree, and a decree, or to decree, it's a verb, is to declare something formally and usually from a place of authority. So for example, when President Obama was in office, he decreed that healthcare should be affordable for all Americans. So it was this formal kind of declaration. He is the president, so he definitely has authority to make this decree. Now, whether you agree that that was effective or not is debatable, but it was a decree. Egregious is an adjective, and it describes something that is extremely bad. So oftentimes you'll hear this in the context of like an egregious error that somebody made, a really bad decision or a really bad mistake. So for example, if a teenager is just starting to drive and they get in a car accident because they looked at their phone while driving, they might realize they made an egregious error checking their phone while driving. Even though all of us have heard not to do this, it's really tempting. The sixth word is facilitate, and to facilitate, it's a verb. It means to aid the progress of something. So when I'm training teachers, I'm often facilitating a workshop, which means I'm kind of orchestrating the parts of it. I'm making sure people know what to do and how to do it. And similarly, in a classroom, teachers are often facilitating small group work, right? So they'll sit with a group of students and they will help to aid them in whatever progress they're making on a particular task or project by asking questions, lending support, just facilitating that experience. Galvanizing is an adjective, and this is our fifth word, and something that is described as galvanizing is thrilling, it's exciting, it's incredibly stimulating. So for example, a galvanizing roller coaster is so thrilling and exciting, it might leave people just totally breathless or excited or almost like shaking because it was such a galvanizing experience. The next word is hostile, and this is an adjective as well, and it describes something that is harmful, dangerous. So if you're at a political rally and there's a protest going on, and it shifts from being peaceful to hostile, then maybe people start throwing things or pushing or yelling kind of beyond what you would expect at a protest, where all of a sudden, instead of peaceful, it's become hostile, harmful, dangerous, where you might feel like, I need to get out of here because I'm not sure what these people are going to do. Impart is a verb, and it means to transmit something, to bestow or give something, or to disclose something. And so if you think about parenting, a lot of times parents are expected to impart wisdom, impart knowledge based on what they've learned in their lives, impart those things to their kids to help their kids grow, develop, and learn. So imparting knowledge is kind of giving or transmitting it to your kids or somebody else. Lament. Lament is a verb, and it means to feel sorrow for something, to mourn, or to feel bad about something. And so often I think about decisions that people make and how they regret those decisions or they lament those decisions. So imagine there's a child who decides, I don't want to try out for the baseball team or the basketball team, or I don't want to try out for the school play. I don't know if I'm good enough. And then they choose not to try out, and their friends end up making the team or participating in the play. And then they really lament their decision not to even try. So they regret that decision.